What if I told you that somewhere in a dusty archive, there is a photograph of an animal, the last of its entire species, the last heartbeat, the last breath, captured on film, forever? And the tragic part? Most of those animals died completely alone. No one came to save them. No one even noticed until it was too late. Today, we're going through 28 of those last photos, and I promise you, by the time this video ends, you will never look at wildlife the same way again. Stay till the very end. Number 1 on this list is unlike anything you've ever seen. Before we dive in, I want you to understand something. These aren't just animals. Each one of these creatures spent millions of years evolving, surviving ice ages, predators, and disasters, and then, in a matter of decades, gone because of us. This isn't meant to make you feel guilty. It's meant to make sure we never forget. Let's start the countdown. Number 28, the Pinta Island tortoise. This is Lonesome George, and the reason this photo is so heartbreaking is because of what he's looking at. Nothing, no family, no mate, just an empty enclosure. George was the last known Pinta Island tortoise on Earth. Scientists spent decades searching for a female. They found none. When George died on June 24, 2012, an entire subspecies of tortoise that had existed for hundreds of thousands of years simply stopped existing. The photo you're looking at right now, that's what the end of a species looks like. Number 27, the thylacine. This grainy black and white footage is one of the most haunting things ever captured on film. This is Benjamin, the last known thylacine, or Tasmanian tiger. He's pacing his cage at the Hobart Zoo in 1933. What's brutal about this story is that the Australian government had been offering bounties for killing thylacines for years. By the time they made them protected by law in 1936, it was too late. Benjamin died just 59 days later. No one checked on him that night. He died from exposure, locked outside his enclosure. Number 26, the passenger pigeon. Now here's one that will genuinely shock you. In the 1800s, passenger pigeons were the most abundant bird in North America. There were estimated to be 3 to 5 billion of them, flocks so massive they darkened the sky for days. And then humans hunted them, all of them. This is Martha, named after Martha Washington, the last passenger pigeon alive. She died on September 1, 1914, at the Cincinnati Zoo, alone, in a cage, a species that once numbered in the billions, gone in less than 50 years. Number 25, the Baiji River dolphin. The Baiji was known in China as the goddess of the Yangtze, revered, loved, sacred. This photo, taken in 1980, is one of the last known images of a live Baiji. By 2006, a full scientific survey of the Yangtze River found zero, not a single one. They were declared functionally extinct, meaning even if a handful survived somewhere, there aren't enough to recover. Overfishing, pollution, boat collisions. The river that gave them life became the thing that killed them. Number 24, the Po'uli. This tiny bird lived only in Maui, Hawaii. By 2004, there were exactly 3 left on Earth. Scientists managed to capture one, this one, for a captive breeding program. They hoped to find the other 2. They never did. The last Po'uli died on November 26, 2004. It died without ever meeting another of its kind in captivity. The other 2 were never found again. Number 23, the Western Black Rhinoceros. Poached to extinction, that's the short version. The long version is that despite conservation efforts, despite international bans on rhino horn trade, poachers didn't stop. The last confirmed Western black rhino was seen in Cameroon in 2006. By 2011, the IUCN declared the subspecies officially extinct. Rhino horn sells for more per kilogram than gold or cocaine. That's why this animal no longer exists. Number 22, the Rab's fringe-limbed tree frog, Tuffy. His name was Tuffy, and he earned it. Discovered in Panama in 2005, the Rab's fringe-limbed tree frog was almost immediately threatened by a deadly chytrid fungus that was wiping out amphibians worldwide. scientists scrambled to collect specimens. Tuffy was one of the last. He lived at the Atlanta Botanical Garden for years. Researchers played recordings of other frogs to keep him company. He called back into silence. Tuffy died in September 2016. The species died with him. Number 21. The Pyrenean Ibex. This one has a twist that sounds like science fiction. The last Pyrenean ibex, named Celia, died in January 2000 when a tree fell on her. Scientists had previously collected skin cells and frozen them. In 2003, they cloned her. A baby Pyrenean ibex was born, the first de-extinct animal in history. It lived for 7 minutes before dying of lung defects. For 7 minutes, an extinct species existed again, and then it was gone, twice. We're not even halfway through yet, and I want to warn you, the stories coming up are even more haunting. Especially number 7. That one kept me up at night researching. But first, if you're finding this video worth your time, hit that like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who care about stories like these. Okay, let's keep going. Number 20. Number 20. The quagga. The quagga looked like someone painted stripes only on the front half of a zebra. It's one of the strangest looking animals ever photographed, and this 1870 photo of a female at London Zoo is one of only a handful ever taken of a live quagga. She died in 1872. The last wild quagga was shot in 1878. The last captive one died in Amsterdam in 1883, and nobody even noticed for years because zoos had confused it with common zebras in their records. Number 19. The golden toad. The golden toad was so bright, so vivid, so impossibly colored that scientists who first discovered it in 1966 thought it might be painted. Males were a solid, electric, fluorescent orange. Females were darker with red spots. The last confirmed sighting was a single male in 1989. By 1994, it was declared extinct. It had gone from thriving to gone in under 30 years. Climate change had dried out the cloud forests of Costa Rica where it lived. The clouds that kept its habitat moist simply stopped coming. Number 18. The ivory-billed woodpecker. This bird was called the Holy Grail of bird watching. For decades after its supposed extinction, people reported sightings. Expeditions were launched. Millions of dollars were spent searching swamps in Arkansas and Florida. The last undisputed photograph is from 1935. In 2021, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service officially declared it extinct, ending one of the longest "is it really gone?" debates in natural history. Some birders still refuse to believe it. They're still looking. Number 17. The Hawaiian crow. In Hawaiian mythology, the Olala was considered a family guardian spirit, an aumakua, a protector. By 2002, the last wild Hawaiian crows had died. The species only survived because of a captive breeding program. This photo is from one of those breeding facilities, birds in enclosures, learning to be wild again through a process called puppet feeding so they wouldn't imprint on humans. There are now over 100 in captivity. Reintroduction efforts have been made and failed multiple times. The wild still hasn't welcomed them back. Number 16. The Steller sea cow. Imagine a manatee, but the size of a city bus, 30 feet long, 10 tons, gentle, slow-moving, completely unafraid of humans because it had no natural predators. That last part is what killed it. Discovered by European explorers in 1741, Steller sea cow was hunted to extinction in just 27 years. 27 years! An animal that had survived for millions of years was wiped out before 1800. The last known individuals were killed in 1768. No photograph exists. This species was gone before photography was invented. The image we show is a scientific illustration. That's all that's left. Number 15. The splendid poison frog. Found only in a tiny patch of rainforest in western Panama, the splendid poison frog was vibrant red and yellow, one of the most visually striking amphibians ever discovered. It was first described scientifically in 1980. By 1990 it was gone. The last confirmed sighting was in 1992. The entire known range of this species was smaller than some city parks. Deforestation consumed it completely. We had barely named it before it was gone. Number 14. The Formosan clouded leopard. This was Taiwan's only native big cat, sacred in the culture of the indigenous Rukai people who believed its skin pattern came from the sun. The last confirmed sighting was in 1983. Camera trap surveys in 2000-2004 covering 1,000 trapping nights found nothing. It was declared extinct in 2013. Then, in 2019, rangers and local villagers in southeastern Taiwan reported seeing one near a cliff. Multiple witnesses, no photograph. It may still be out there, or it may be a ghost story. Nobody knows. Number 13. The Caribbean monk seal. Christopher Columbus was the first European to document Caribbean monk seals in 1494. His crew killed 8 of them for food that night. 500 years later, they're gone. The last confirmed sighting was in 1952 between Jamaica and Mexico's Serenilla Bank. This archival photograph from the early 1900s is one of only a small number that exists. By 2008, after years of searching, it was officially declared extinct, the only seal species to go extinct in modern times due to human causes. Number 12. The Two-Lake Wallaby. Called the most graceful and beautiful of all wallabies, the two-lake was also one of the fastest. Early European settlers in South Australia described watching them sprint and said nothing they'd ever seen moved with such effortless speed. They were hunted for sport. Their fur was fashionable. Foxes, introduced to Australia, hunted the young ones. By 1924, only 14 remained. A rescue attempt was made. It went catastrophically wrong, and several died from stress during capture. The last confirmed two-leg died in captivity in 1939. Number 11. The Northern White Rhinoceros. As of today, there are 2 northern white rhinos left on Earth. Both are female. Both are at Ol Pejeta Conservancy in Kenya. Both are guarded 24 hours a day by armed rangers. The last male, named Sudan, died on March 19, 2018. He was 45 years old. In his final days, he could barely walk. His death was announced to the world. It trended on social media. People left flowers. The subspecies cannot naturally reproduce anymore. Scientists are attempting IVF using frozen sperm. It may work. It probably won't. This is a photo of Sudan in his last year. Look at his eyes. Top 10 coming up. And I genuinely mean it when I say these last ones are different. Some of these have never been talked about in videos like this before. Number 7 especially destroyed me when I found it. Stay with me. Number 10. The dodo. Everyone knows the dodo, but most people don't know the real story. The dodo wasn't hunted to extinction, not primarily. It was the animal sailors brought with them. Rats, pigs, cats, and dogs that ate dodo eggs on the ground. The dodo never learned to be afraid because it had no predators for millions of years. No confirmed photograph exists. The dodo went extinct around 1681. This is a composite illustration based on historical sketches and preserved specimens. But here's what gets me. A complete, perfectly preserved dodo specimen has never been found. We know this animal almost entirely from fragments. Number 9. The Javan tiger. The island of Java in Indonesia was once so full of tigers that the colonial Dutch government paid bounties to kill them. By the 1950s, fewer than 25 remained. By 1979, the last confirmed sighting. This photograph from the 1930s shows a Javan tiger in a trap. The expression on its face, That wide, confused stare, it doesn't know what a camera is. It doesn't know it's the last of something, it's just an animal in a trap. That's the cruelest part of extinction. The animals never know they're the last. In 1987, a Cornell scientist recorded the last known Kauai-o, a small black bird from Hawaii, singing alone in the rainforest. He was calling for a mate. The female had already died. He didn't know. If you search for this recording online, you can still hear it today. It is 4 minutes long. He sings his call. He waits. He sings again. Silence. He sings again. Over and over, waiting for an answer that will never come. That recording was uploaded to YouTube and has made people cry around the world because it's not just a bird song, it's a species saying goodbye. Number 7. Miss Waldron's red colobus monkey. This is the first primate to go extinct in the last 500 years that we know of. In West Africa, Ghana and Ivory Coast, this red and black monkey lived in rainforests that were being cleared at catastrophic rates. The last confirmed sighting was in 1978. By 2000, it was declared extinct. And here is what breaks me about this one. The last photos of this monkey were taken during a survey that was supposed to be studying how to protect it. The researchers went back the next year. The forest was gone. The monkeys were gone. They were photographing an extinction in progress and didn't even know it yet. Number 6. The Yangtze giant soft-shell turtle. The largest freshwater turtle on Earth. Ancient, enormous. In Vietnamese culture, one of these turtles was believed to be sacred, the legendary golden turtle god of Hoan Kiem Lake in Hanoi. When the last known female died in 2019 at the Suzhou Zoo during an artificial insemination attempt, there were only 3 known living individuals left, all male, or so they thought. In 2020, a survey in Vietnam found a wild female. There may be hope, but as of now, the species stands at the very edge of existence, perhaps 3 or 4 individuals on Earth. Number 5. The heath hen. Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts, 1932. A bird called Booming Ben would come to a clearing every morning. Researchers and locals watched him and waited. He was the last heath hen alive. He died in 1932. Before he did, researchers noted that he had started doing something unusual. He would display, fan his tail feathers, inflate his neck sacs, boom his calls into the empty air, the full mating ritual, every morning. For a mate that wasn't there, that would never come. Number 4. The Great Auk. The Great Auk was the original penguin, large, flightless, black and white, perfectly adapted for the sea. Indigenous peoples of the North Atlantic revered it. European sailors slaughtered it for food, feathers, and oil. The last 2 great auks alive were found nesting on an island off Iceland in June 1844. 3 men sent to collect specimens strangled them by hand. One of the men stepped on the last egg and crushed it. That is how the Great Auk ended, strangled, on an island, by 3 men who wanted to sell the bodies to a museum collector. Number 3. The Spix's macaw. You've seen this bird. You just didn't know it. Spix's macaw was the inspiration for Blue in the movie Rio. By the time that movie came out in 2011, the bird was already extinct. In the wild, the last wild Spix's macaw, a lone male, was spotted trying to mate with a female of a similar species in 2000. He was alone for years. Then he disappeared. There are approximately 180 alive in captivity today. Reintroduction to Brazil began in 2022. Whether they can survive in the wild, that chapter is still being written. Number 2. The Yangtze River dolphin, the last photo. I covered the Baiji earlier in this video, but I want to come back to it for number 2 because of this specific photograph. This was taken in 1980 by a researcher named Chi Chi, also the name of the dolphin in the photo. Chi-Chi lived in captivity at the Wuhan Institute of Hydrobiology for 22 years. He was the most studied baiji in history. He died in 2002. And in his 22 years of captivity, despite every effort, no mate was ever found for him. He lived his entire captive life alone. This photo, that look, that's what I can't stop thinking about. Number 1. George. Not Lonesome George the tortoise. I want to come back to him. Because when I said earlier this photo shows what the end of a species looks like, I want you to sit with that for a moment. The scientist who found George dead wrote in her report that she had no warning, no sign. She arrived for the morning check and he was gone. She said in an interview later, "I keep thinking about how the night before I had gone home, I had dinner, I watched television, and at some point in that night, the last Pinta Island tortoise died, alone, in the dark, and I was watching television." That is the number 1 image in this video, not because it's the rarest, not because it's the most dramatic, but because of what it represents. Every single extinction on this list happened while humans were eating dinner, watching television, going to work, living our lives. We weren't paying attention, and by the time we looked up, they were gone. The question isn't whether we feel sad about it. The question is what we do next. Because right now, scientists estimate we are losing species at 1,000 times the natural background rate. The 6th mass extinction is not coming. It is here. It is happening while you watch this video. Some of these animals, like the Spix's macaw, still have a chance. Some, like the northern white rhino, are almost certainly lost. But some are fighting to come back. And whether they make it depends on whether enough people care enough to pay attention. You watch this whole video. You care. That matters. Share this with someone. Talk about it. Don't let these animals be forgotten twice. If this video meant something to you, please like and subscribe so you never miss a video like this. I've linked some conservation organizations in the description if you want to do something more than just watch. And if you want to go deeper, I've got a video right here on animals that scientists are actively trying to bring back from extinction. Some of them might actually work. I'll see you there.